Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Coursera session. My name is Aisha, and I'll be your host for today's session. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We're very aware of how busy everyone's schedule is, so we're really excited to have you here. So today's session is focused on building CV and LinkedIn, which is a very important topic, especially for those that are preparing to, go into the workspace and people that are in school that are just finishing our Coursera course that want to start working. So we have an amazing speaker today, and she's someone that has joined us before. She has spoken at one of our webinars before, and I'm so excited for her to speak again. So I'm sure you're going to get a lot of practical insights from this session. So before we begin, I would encourage everyone to stay engaged, take notes, and most importantly, I hope you came with questions. So ask questions after the session. If you have any questions, just drop them in the chat box. And please do not, if you want to ask questions, drop in chat box. Please do not, let's not make it rowdy. So now I'm going to introduce our speaker for today. So joining us today is Blossom Ubochi. She's a data and finance professional. Blossom is the president of Student Finance Club and co-license of TEDx Redeemers University, TEDx Run. She is also the data stack lead and PR manager at Redeemers University Technology Space. She previously worked as data analyst and intern at Cowrywise, and she holds a bachelor's degree in accounting from Redeemers University. So we are experienced across data, finance, technology, leadership, and professional development. We're really excited to have her join us here with us today. So, Blossom, thank you for joining us today. The floor is yours.
Hi, Aisha. Thank you so much for the introduction. It's great to
Thank
be
you for joining
here.
us.
I really appreciate the call back, and I hope people get a thing or two from today's session, right? Okay, so we'll start out immediately. I'm trying to share my screen right now.
Okay.
Okay, while my screen is coming up, let me just start out.
Okay. Perfect.
So our topic for today is building your CV and LinkedIn, and it is a career related interaction. So I want to believe that everyone here, one way or the other, have interest in their career, want to know how to push beyond the limit, want to get opportunities, want to land amazing job roles, internships for students who are still undergraduates and all of that. I know that that's the reality of a lot of young Nigerians. But one thing I've come to realize is that majority of us make the mistake of not having good CV or not being visible on a platform like LinkedIn. And that is something that is very important, pretty much. So you always hear people say, people remember you for people only remember those that are visible. So it is if the person that I saw last that posted about being a designer is Joy, I would not I would not start looking far and beyond. I would just go back to her profile. Oh, I saw that she made a post about designs that she has worked on lately. Even if Aisha is a better designer than Joy, it's Joy we remember. It's Joy that made a post on LinkedIn about um her her journey. That's who would recommend, that's who would be put in place for opportunities, basically. Um, yeah, so to start out, Aisha has already introduced me. My name is Blossom, and amongst many other things, I love community. I love to see people be a part of community and get the most out of it, get the benefit of growing and getting better with people. So community is a very important part of what I do. Community plays the highest role in majority of things I do. So you have to, I personally believe that if you have the right community, or if you're in the right community, you if you're in the right community, you would have access to interesting opportunities that just being a normal, not being part of a community would give you. And one thing I believe is that that plays out a lot more, especially for students. So I believe that when you are going into the university, don't just go or don't just be in the university and just um, attend classes, go back to your hostel, maybe go to church and go back to your hostel. It's very important that be, be a part of communities that align with your career path. Communities that align with your career path, very, very important. Okay, let me start. I think I shared the screen already. Okay. So what we'll learn today is the first thing is we're going to identify common CV mistakes that cost candidate opportunities. We know I don't I don't have what it takes, or They were also going to be the LinkedIn profile that stands out to a Nigerian recruiter. Then okay, I think my network threw me out. Can we confirm you can hear me? Let me just see. Hi Aisha, please can we confirm you can hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So as I was saying, what we learned today and okay, we'll know when and how to update our CV and LinkedIn profile because that's very important as you grow or as you progress in your career path, in your journey, in your level in school self, you are going to know the right time to update your CV and your LinkedIn because um like I would say, who you were in 100 level may not be the person you are in your third year of school. In 100 level, you may have been a just have been a random student in school that were just trying to get across passing their first year in school. But 300 level, you might have done other interesting things. You might have volunteered, you might have headed a project, you might have taken a course, you might have done an internship. So you have to constantly know that you're going to keep on progressing in your career path. Right. Okay, so I think this slide is ready. Let me try and share it so that Aisha can take hers down. Okay, there. Okay. So let me confirm you can see my screen. Let me confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, yes, we can.
Beautiful. So moving forward, and the last thing we're going to learn is how apply one quick win to improve your professional present today. Okay. So the first thing is common CV mistakes that people make, especially young people, especially students. The first one is generic CV sent out to every role interested in instead of tailoring it to the job description. So let's give an example. Um, who wants to tell, so this becomes interactive. Who wants to tell us a particular, maybe like a role or an internship you would like to get? Could just unmute your mic. Just let me know just one internship or one job role you're looking to get. Anyone?
What's the question?
Just tell me one job role, like your interest and a job role you want to get.
Like, let's say web developer or something.
Okay, web developer. Okay, that's something. So, for example, let's say Piggyvest is hiring a web developer, and you used a particular CV of the project you've worked on, the project you've done for a company where you were a web designer, for example. You could see that it could be in the same context, but not necessarily the same role. So generic CV sent for every role is dangerous because if you say, oh, okay, this is my CV, anybody that asks you for your CV, you use the exact same CV. It does not always work out. It's very important that whenever you want to send out your CV, you are tailoring it to the role. Your CV might encompass your academic excellence, the award you've gotten, different certificates you've gotten, because people have different interests. I could have interest in the creative industry and also have interest in the finance industry and also have interest in the technology industry. So I could cosplay in these different places. But if maybe I want to get a role as a data analyst, and because the CV I have is a CV of someone who wants to get a role as an accounting intern, that's the CV I sent for a data role. That's very wrong. So it's very important that we don't have a generic CV. It's very important that we are always updating our CV, always tailoring our CV to the particular job role that we want to get. So the next one is dense blocks of text with no clear structure or white spaces. And I remember when I was working in a particular company, and the HR always say, I don't know why people would just be leaving space in their CV. What do you want me to use this space to do? What do you want me to use this space to do? And honestly, I could understand because you are writing a particular text here and you are um not giving context or not understanding what this means or why there is a space there. That's an issue. The third would be listing responsibilities instead of measurable achievements. I was the president of this. I was the founder of this. I did this in school. I did this, that. Congratulations, but the truth is that if you're entering the job market, they don't really care about all these many things you did. They don't care about if you were the licensee, if you were the president, if you were the class captain, if you were the governor of this. They want to know what did you do or what was your achievement in this. Let's give example. Oh, president of um, the finance society in my university. What did we do? We had students participate in one of the top competitions in Nigeria. We were able to have students about 10 students land jobs in different organizations. You just have to give out metrics. You have to give us measurable achievements. It is one thing to get a role and just be in the role like, oh, I'm just wearing the cap of the president of this. What did you do while you were president? What did you do while you were president? You need to tell us in your CV. So if you are putting an experience or a particular role, and even back to like internships or previous role, let's give an example that you took an internship for 3 months outside school. What did you do in your 3 months? It's very convenient to say, oh, I worked at this oil and gas. I worked at so bank. But what did you do there? You need to be able to tell us that you are a valuable person in that organization and you would be a valuable person in our own organization. Unprofessional email address or inconsistent formatting. When I feel like this has been overemphasized in our generation enough that you should not be going to take a role and we are seeing your email mixed with plenty numbers or plenty signs and all that, blossom at 15.mg, all those many unnecessary things. You should have, even if you have those type of emails, you should have one email that is a professional email. Especially if you know you want to work in the corporate organization, you want to work in across industries, you need to have a professional email address. The whole this that at that email.com, it will not work because they will just look at you and see you as an unserious person. Inconsistent formatting. What this means is that instead of you to have an aligned CV, or as you are moving from this, you are numbering, you are putting bullet points, you are the things that are in bold and maybe the companies you've worked at, the things that are in bold and maybe the roles you've handled. So you need to have consistent formatting because if a hiring manager sees bold here, italics here, Times New Roman here, like they will genuinely just see that, oh, you are a confused person or you are not patient enough to give them a good CV. So that is something we need to take note of. So you cannot just
I have a question.
okay.
Can you explain this unprofessional email address? I don't really understand the concept.
Okay, so like I said, unprofessional email address is not having your name written out properly at gmail.com. For example, you are saying Smith, um, I don't even know how those things work, but we could have just had a Smith, your surname at gmail.com or your surname Smith at gmail.com, but you are then having Smith Starboy at gmail.com or Smith 12347 at gmail.com. It just shows that you don't look professional or serious enough. That's basically what it means. So if you are having an email address, it should be professional enough. And professional is your surname or your first name or both of them together at gmail.com. So it's easy to work with. Yeah, I hope you got that. Um, typos, spelling error, and outdated contact information. So typos, when hiring managers look at your CV and they're already seeing typographical errors, they can already tell that this kind of person will come and making mistakes in our company. So typos are a huge turnoff for people. So it's very important that if you are if you are writing your CV, you are reviewing your CV over and over again. You are giving it to people to help you read through it. You are putting it on Google Docs to point out any error and you are correcting it immediately. Same thing goes to spelling error. Instead of writing mistakes as mistakes, you are taking out E and you're making mistakes. It also shows that you're not a patient person, you are not reading through your CV, you rushed through the process of this. And outdated contact information could be oh, you are using a particular Airtel SIM, it got missing, and you've changed your number, but you're still putting that number on your CV for someone to reach you. So let's give an example that you actually do get the opportunity to be interviewed. What you do, what when they try to call you, they're saying, oh, the number you're trying to call is not reachable, the number you're trying to call does not exist. So that's outdated contact information. That goes to even your email address. Let's say you don't use a particular email address anymore. You are putting it on your CV, you are shooting yourself in the leg, pretty much. So let's move to the next thing, which is what makes a LinkedIn profile stand out. So I would always say you should think of your profile as a living CV tailored for Nigerian professional landscape. So the first one is having a professional headshot and a banner image that reflects your field. So I would always be baffled when I try to check someone's LinkedIn profile and I don't see a picture and I just see it blank. I would just be like, oh, you are trying to be on serious. You're not meant to be here. Leave the platform. Because no matter how you say, oh, you are shy or you are you don't have pictures, I feel like that is an excuse. So professional headshot, very important, very, very important that you have a professional headshot. We are even in a time whereby they've made that easier for us. You could use AI to just cook up one of your normal pictures to make yourself look good, make yourself wear a suit or something. Or you actually do take the pains and go and take a professional headshot because it just makes you stand out who who you are. I can see that. And a banner image that reflects your field. So what's a banner image? A banner image is the picture you have at the back of your profile on LinkedIn. So people usually leave that blank, but sometimes I would always say it's nice to have something that reflects your field. It could be if you know you're going to do maybe data or finance, so you're going to be a designer or an illustrator for a while, you can have that. Oh, um, you can have Gideon on your profile, you're having your email address on it. Okay, full stack developer, um, graphic designer, illustrator. That's something that it's very simple, very straight to the point, nothing too far-fetched, something you can do with Canva free. So it's always a nice to have on your LinkedIn profile. A headline that goes beyond your job title, including your value proposition. So what that means is you are checking out your in your headline underneath your bio, you are having um data. This is very important, especially for people who are still job hunting. If you know, or maybe you are well into the job market and you are not having to experience all that. Of course, opportunities will still need you to put things like that on your profile. You have okay, let me use, for example, data analyst, finance professional, helping businesses do this and that, or web developer, illustrator, creating whatever it may be. So just have your value proposition in there and your headline that should go beyond your job title. So your job title could be a graphic designer at um, digital um, design illustrator, brand designer. So it shows that you are going beyond what your company would see you as, but actually what the kind of value you want to bring to any place you find yourself. So now moving on to the about section, written in first person with a clear story and call to action. Oh, my name is Blossom Ubochi. I am a dish student at this place. I have been able to do this and that. I currently lead this and that. And I would like to connect with people who are interested in finance, data, and technology. That pretty much sums it up. It's different for everybody. Your name could be anything else. Your value, your experience could be different from mine. you could be a graduate, you could be an undergraduate, you could be a third year student who is interested in community building, in this, in that. And the truth is that this thing can always change over time. If I am having a particular about of myself 2 years ago on how am this and that, it could change when I'm a graduate or when I'm done with this particular program I'm in. That okay, I'm done now. So I am now a GSC holder, I am now a master's degree holder, and I am growing through, climbing through the professional ladder of this industry. So when I say a call to action is I like to connect with people who this, that, and here is my email address, whatever it may be. Um, sorry. The next thing is detailed experience with results, media, and keywords. So when you have your experience part in your LinkedIn, you would always see something that I want to open the LinkedIn app. So I speak clearly from that. Okay. So your experience is you're adding maybe the organization, the company, the NGO you worked at, you're adding your role, you're adding the things you did. You played a particular role in this, and this was the result, this was the metrics. We were able to have a turnover of 1,000 participants. We were able to do this and do that and do this. So results very important when you are putting your experience on your LinkedIn profile. Um, Also media is also very good because it just shows that oh, okay, you were actually here and you actually did this. Media could be like a picture of you at the place. If it's an event, it could be a picture of you in front of the banner or something. If it's a work experience, it could just be a picture of you in the company or maybe a certificate of service, a certificate of participation, an award you might have gotten, etc., and also having keywords there. Um, then regular activity. If you want to grow or if you want to build a good LinkedIn profile, you have to have regular activity. People will always say, "Oh, what do you push to even do on that LinkedIn? How do you push to even what do you push to do there?" But the same thing that happens on LinkedIn is the same thing that happens on every other social media platform across board. Your Instagram, your TikTok, your Twitter, WhatsApp, whatever it may be, you are making posts, you are commenting, you are engaging, and you are building visibility. So when you are making posts, you are telling people, oh, I did this and I did that, and this was the result. Here are pictures of evidence. And people see it and they're like, oh, congratulations, Ogolua. Congratulations, so proud of you. You did amazing. Oh, I worked with you and it was really beautiful doing this. Because if you don't make a post, I may not even be able to, I may not have the opportunity to tell the internet that, oh, I worked with this person on this. But if you make a post, okay, let me give an example. I currently wrapped up a particular bootcamp I did, and I've been seeing people posting about it, and very easy for me to say, oh, it was so nice experiencing you at the bootcamp. You were this, you were that. I loved how well of a leader you were, and all that. So it just helps you build visibility and engagement. And when people comment, when people repost, when people like, your posts goes up, goes up, goes up. And I always say that when people don't come here to say, oh, you're not the posting type. Nobody says you should go and be speaking every single day on LinkedIn. But as much as you can, document your progress, document your journey, show up, let people see that you are consistent enough, let people be able to maybe point back to if they say, oh, this university, they can be able to call your name that, oh, this girl is in this university. I know her, she does this in this school. Or if they come towards an industry, you are someone that should be remembered as a young person. Okay, let's move on to when to update your CV and your LinkedIn. Keep both documents alive and current. Very, very important. Even if you have a job that you're currently doing and you enjoy, you don't know the opportunities that might come your way. You don't know if you could get an opportunity to represent something at somewhere in a country outside your country or outside your place of residence, or maybe even outside the state you live in. You could be living in Lagos and have never left Lagos before. But because you have a current and updated LinkedIn profile, they could say, oh, this person, I love how well of community activity she does. I think if we bring this person up as a brand ambassador to represent our organization in this state, maybe in Abuja, she would do well for us. She would create content. She would talk about it. People would ask questions. That's very important. So the first one would be when to update your CV and LinkedIn. Firstly, after completing a new course, a certification, or a project. A new course does not have to be something you do in school. Let's say you are trying to become a designer or a professional designer. You've taken a course that has kept you for like maybe 1 month, 2 months, and you've gotten your certificate. Maybe you even paid for the course. You got your certificate. You should update it on your LinkedIn. You could put it in the certificate part of your LinkedIn and write about it a little. And even make a full post on it. People could see it and say, this is a very nice certificate. Well done. And through that, people could actually trust your judgment with your role. Then the next thing would be your project. So you could have done project, and project does not necessarily have to be written word project or design project, websites, finance project. It could even be humanitarian. Maybe you did a project of an event, you executed an event. That's something. Bring it back to your LinkedIn. Oh, I did this, I did that. The next one is when you take up a new role, internship or leadership position. It's very important to update your LinkedIn when you do that. When you take up a new role, I started working in this organization. This is what I've been doing. You don't necessarily have to say so much in your start out, but putting it there, it just positions you to the right audience. Oh, this person is now working at Seplat. This person is now working at UBA. This person is now working at this. You could come back 3 months later and tell us, oh, it was an internship and you're currently done. This is what you did, this, that, that. So also internships or leadership position. It could be in school, it could be in community. Oh, you just got a leadership position as the brand designer for your school association. Put it there. Let us know. We're interested to know how far. Then before applying to any opportunity, tailor for that specific role. I mean, I spoke about that in the beginning. Do not use the same CV for every role. Sometimes when you see a role, you need to actually read through the job description. What do these people actually want? And how does my past experiences and previous experiences, previous role, how can I shape it to make sense of what they really, really want me to do here? How does my role as the president of this make sense to being an intern at a finance company? What did I do there that would make them consider me first? Then the next one is when your goal, when your career goal or target hit industry shift. So that is when you maybe get particular recognition from your company, from your industry. You should talk about it. Oh, I did this and it was superb. Then set a reminder to review your LinkedIn profile at least once a quarter. Very important, very important. It's very possible for you to even lose touch of all the things or all the amazing things you might have done because your life might be moving in motion. But if you sit back January to March, you're like, oh, what did I actually do? You're looking at your phone, checking pictures, you're looking at certificates you might have gotten. You see that, oh, okay, I actually did do interesting things. And that would help you reevaluate or evaluate how your next quarter should be. I want to believe we're still here, we're still with me. I haven't gotten anybody lost on the road. Please, if you have questions, please and please and please, you should drop them in the chat box so we know that you are here. and that could be answered, and also so you do not forget. Okay. Sorry. So quick wins you can apply today. Small changes, immediate impact. That's what me I call it, because you could see it as, oh, what would rewriting my LinkedIn headline do? Small changes, immediate impact. So the first one is rewrite your LinkedIn headline to include what you do and who you help. So that's something you could sit back with today. Oh, my name is Blossom Bochi. What do I actually do? And who are the people that I actually help? Who will pay me money for my service? Next one is add one measurable result to your most recent experience entry. It could be that, oh, it could be that you got in an internship and you were able to close a sale, or you did an interesting thing, or you were part of the team that worked on a particular project, even though you're an intern, something like that. The next one is to customize your CV for the exact. When next you're applying for a role, it's very important to customize your CV for that role. Then connect with 5 professionals in your target industry this week. My whenever I want to speak to people about their industry, I would always say, who are the top 5 people in your industry? And do you follow their work? So personally, I know the top 5 people. I know the top 10 people across the industry that is my industry and the industry I have interest in. I know what they do. So you need to be looking into those things. Who are the top 5? Who are the top, if you're a designer, who are the top 5 designers in Nigeria? Start to your country. Okay, who are the people that, if you think of the design community, the design industry, who comes to mind? Exactly. So turn on your LinkedIn's open to work or open to opportunity setting, and there you should turn that on to people who are recruiting. So I would always say don't turn it on to the general public, because not everybody is recruiting. But recruiters who are recruiting, if you turn it on to them, they see that, oh, okay, you are interested in new job roles, new opportunities, and it's very easy for them to reach out to you. So these are some of the questions we may explore. I don't want to answer these questions yet. You could look through it if that's something you have to answer, but I'm sure I shall be able to take it up from here.
Thank you so much, Blossom. Thank you so much for the insightful and practical session. So I'm sure everyone has taken something valuable from this session, especially how to better position yourselves through your CV and LinkedIn profile. So if anyone has any question, you can drop them in the chat box, and we will definitely get to it. Someone already dropped the question. The person said, "What if you add a number two with your real name? Is it still professional?" I don't know if you understand what the person is trying to say here.
When is it with regards to the email? Because I don't think I got that.
Okay, so Joy, please could you unmute and ask the question again?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello,
My
good
question
afternoon.
is, when you spoke about email, like you gave example, like adding your real name and not adding, let me say, John Starboy. That's not professional. My question is, what if you had your real name with numbers, like one or two numbers? That's what I said there. Will it look professional still, or just your name without adding the numbers?
Okay, I think I get your question. So, um, let me type something in the comment. So you're saying something like this as an example, right?
Yes, something like that.
Okay,
Is it still
this is
professional?
genuinely not bad because it doesn't look tacky. But then if we're having something like this, it just looks like a lot. So minimal numbers, maybe two numbers at most. It can fly, something that could still work. Because if you get into companies and some organizations, they give you company email, for example. So your company email could be so something. Oh, I think I made a mistake with the arts. Not meant to be. But yeah, you get what I mean. So you should just be very, very careful with your numbers. So you're not having a lot of numbers, you're not having a lot of letters or a lot of signs. So balance, pretty much balance. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So someone says what to do when you're overwhelmed by LinkedIn. I really open the app because I get tired of congratulating people. I'm happy for them all, but it feels like everyone else is ahead on there and it gets overwhelming.
Okay, so I mean this is something that people say a lot, but I personally feel like if you're doing something with yourself as well, you would you would not see it that way, definitely. So you don't necessarily have to be on LinkedIn every day. That's even a lot of content consumption. You don't necessarily have to be on LinkedIn every day. You don't necessarily have to congratulate everybody in their comments. To be fair, sometimes I just scroll through posts, I just like it and I go because I'm not in the right brain capacity to start thinking of all they said and writing a response to that, right? Or sometimes it could be really nice, especially if the person is someone you know, someone you have worked with, to congratulate them. Yeah. So it's overwhelming because everybody's talking, and that's genuinely social media for you. Everybody's speaking, everybody's telling you what they are doing. If you think you are doing something, somebody's doing something else that is bigger than your own. So you just have to be in the place of contentment, but still looking forward to push for more because whether I like it or not, those things could still be motivating to your own part. Like, oh, okay, this person, you could see your classmate on LinkedIn doing big thing, and you're like, it's not both of us that sit in class together. That's interesting. So that's something that could be considered. But I do get where Ogolua is coming from. Nothing too serious, to be fair. You don't have to congratulate everybody. You don't have to be on the app every day. And you don't have to see other people's progress as them being ahead of you. It could just be their time to be at that point and just be happy for them because your time will come. And by the time you are posting, you want people to tell you congratulations. I hope that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I can I feel I understand what Oguluwa is saying. Sometimes it get overwhelming when you go on LinkedIn and you see so many people posting,
I have put
and you're
an
just there, and
I
you're
have it in
just
an
there. So I get what he's saying. So someone says, okay, Osa says about posting on LinkedIn, which one is better? Creating a calendar to post every day or following trends and posting in line with them?
Hmm. Following trends. I don't think following trends is something I would ever believe because you don't have to follow trends to be fair. Well, I have never really had a content calendar for LinkedIn before, so I don't think I can speak on content calendar. But content calendar is not bad if you have planned out content because sometimes I personally just post out of for the things I've done, not out of I need to post, right? But for people that are still job hunting, still trying to get across opportunities to them, having a content calendar won't be bad. Let's give an example, you're a designer, or an illustrator, your content calendar could be that, or you want to post 3 times a week and you want to post on 3 different illustrations you've done in a week. That's beautiful. You plan it. This week, I want to post the illustration I did for so company. This week, I want to post the illustration I did for Aisha's brand. The next week, I want to the next day, I want to post the content I did for Joy's company. So that's how a content calendar should be. It doesn't even necessarily have to be anything deep, anything too strategically planned. It could just be, okay, yes, I have these things to post. I plan them across the months and I find myself posting consistently. Yeah, so I don't know why you say following trends, but following trends, I don't think you get to have a lot of trends on LinkedIn the way you do on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, right? So following trends might not necessarily be very, very valid. Except in your industry, there is a trend of maybe talking about what you're doing. So I know Ogolua is a designer. So let's say some of the top people in his industry are posting about the past few works they've done and they are just challenging everybody. If you have work across tech, fashion, okay, let's for example, they're saying if you have illustrations or design on fashion, share with us. That's something that's like a trend. And you post and you tag the people and you tag who needs to, or you add hashtags or something and you post. That's how trends, that's something that trends could like work with. Yeah. Okay. Aisha, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. So Abib says, should I include my freelance and social media experience, even if some of the work wasn't full time?
Of course, definitely. It doesn't have to be full time. And with LinkedIn even gives you that option. You see contract, you see full time, you see on site, you see hybrid. So when you want to include your roles, they're going to ask you those questions. That was it a hybrid role? Was it a freelance role? Was it a contract? Was it a part-time role? So that's something you should, I don't think, regardless of it being a full-time or not, will I could tell Ogolua to come in to do um a full branding for my business. I'm not calling him to be my company's designer. Just give us new logo, new templates, new colors, and he does everything. He gives it to me. I pay him his money. He can, and my company is on LinkedIn. He can go back and post on LinkedIn that, oh, these are the brand work. Actually, when we've come to a conclusion that I say, oh, sure, you are free to like talk about it on your social media. He adds it to his experience. Maybe Hair by Blossom. I was the brand designer for Hair by Blossom, and it was a contract, and the contract spanned across 3 months. So, yes, Bashiru, you should please put that experience, even if it wasn't full time. Yeah.
Okay, so Joy says about the CV, is it possible to use more than one CV? Like sending different CV to different companies based on the skill needed, get based on the skill needed to get the job done, or you just need to update your CV and add all your skills in it.
It's possible to use more than one CV. So, someone like me now, I have a CV for if I want to work as a project manager. I have a CV if I want to work in a finance industry. I have a CV if I want to work in data. So that's what happens when you have, like, you could be a multi-potential. Like, if you know that your life is not narrowed down to some people, all they have ever done, all they might ever find themselves doing, cut across the same thing. They've not diversified into anything new, anything extra, right? Then you can say, oh, you're just updating the CV or tweaking things here and there, shifting things here and there. But project management and maybe social media manager or finance intern or finance associate, the CVs can never really be the same. Oh, the skill set I used here can make sense here, but I cannot say I'm applying for a finance role and I'm saying, I was the project manager for this event that happened. I was project manager for that event that happened. Nobody cares because that's not what we're asking you for. What's your knowledge of finance? What's your knowledge of the capital markets? What's your knowledge of the stock market? That's what we want to know. Where have you worked at that it is in line in this? So yes, you can have more than one CV. You can have more than one CV. But it's very important to, regardless of you having more than one CV, even in that having more than one CV, you should still learn to optimize your more than one CV. Regardless, I could have like three CVs for three different roles, but even in that three different roles, let's say I'm trying to get a role as a product manager, I have to ensure that I am putting in the right things that those people want to see. What they want to see is the most important thing that should be on that CV. I hope that makes sense.
Okay, I'm sorry to I want to use a voice to ask this question. Like
Okay.
as a virtual assistant now, there are many skills under virtual assistant,
Mm-hmm.
like email management, calendar management, project management. You understand? Is it possible to have all that in one CV, or you have to have it in different CV?
As far as
They are
you are
just the skills.
okay, as far as we are going for a virtual assistant role or a social media managing role, those are the essential skills you need to be one. So having all of that in one CV, very important. They want to see that as a virtual assistant, you know how to manage calendars, you know how to do email, you know how to post, you know how to interact. So these things should be in one CV. When I talk about having more than one CV, is when you are trying to do something entirely different. So let's say you're a virtual assistant now, and you now tilt towards learning data analysis, for example. So you've worked on data projects, and maybe you've done one free internship somewhere. Then you now want to get a role as a data analyst intern. You cannot take your virtual assistant CV there. You need to now create a data CV. Oh, I worked on project. I used Microsoft SQL. I used Microsoft Excel. I used visualization tools. But talking about social media management, talking about virtual assistant, the skill set that you know makes up a virtual assistant. Because who is a virtual assistant? Someone who can manage calendar, someone who can manage phone calls, someone who can manage emails. If they say they're looking for an email marketer, let's give that for example, they are narrowing it down. I am looking for an email marketer. That's when you will now leave all the other plenty things. You will now say, oh, I handle calendars well. I handle emails well. I know how to send professional emails. I'm very good with using AI. I'm very good with this. Yeah. Thank you. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if Aisha is here on this call. I don't know if Aisha is still here. Let me check. Okay, I think Aisha dropped off, but I don't know if anyone has any other question before she joins back. You just have your mic unmuted and go ahead. Okay, she's back.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My network just went off. I'm so sorry, everyone. So, do we have anyone that has any question? Any more question? Can everyone hear me? Blossom, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay, okay. So, we don't have anyone that has any more question, right? Okay, so thank you so much for joining us today, and Blossom, thank you so much for dropping very valuable insights and answering everyone's question. I really appreciate. We encourage you to, put what you've learned today into practice and update your CV, put yourself out there. LinkedIn is where recruiters will see you, where your next boss will see you. So learn to put yourself out there, update your LinkedIn, and position yourself for the opportunities that you want. So don't forget to continue engaging with your Coursera courses, completing your assignments, and just staying on top of your course. And before we wrap up, I want to remind everyone about our upcoming pathway graduation. So this will be a special opportunity to celebrate everyone who has completed their learning journey, the skills that you've gained, and the progress you've made so far. So please keep an eye out there for the information that we're going to pass along regarding the graduation. We can't wait to celebrate everyone that has finished their pathway. So once again, thank you so much for everyone that has joined us today. I hope today has been very insightful for everyone. Thank you, Blossom. Thank you for always coming through for us. I hope everyone has a nice day. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.